Welcome to the Wrangler World of Rodeo. Jeff Metters along with Butch Knowles. We have traveled to the mountains of Idaho, Holt Arena on the campus of Idaho State University for the 1998 edition of the Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo. What a wonderful setup this is, Butch. They bring in the part-time Cowboys, the full-time Cowboys, all of them having a chance to win big bucks.
Well, that's what's so unique about this rodeo. They all compete in 2 go-arounds, and then they take the top 8 back to what they call the Wrangler round. And that's what we're getting ready to watch, the highlights from that right now.
Here are the Cowboys that made the semifinals in bareback riding. All 8 of these guys, it's pretty simple, have the highest score. The top 4 best scores come back for the Wrangler round.
Well, to start it off, Kelly Wardell, who really came on strong, he qualified about 7th place. So the nice part is they all go back to 0, and they just, whoever makes the top 4 best rides go on to the Wrangler round, and Kelly went to work at the right time.
Also a contender in the Wrangler round, the 4-time world champion from Belfast, South Dakota, Marvin Garrett.
Well, this horse is called Copenhagen Sports News, and when you match up a world champion with a world champion quality horse, well, this is what happens. What a ride.
The news was not so good for Jeff Collins, the Oklahoma Cowboy, scoring 79. Good ride, but not good enough to get him back in the top 4.
Well, there's 17 contractors represented at this rodeo this year, and when you get 17 guys and bring their best horses back, well, you have to earn your way to the top 4, and everyone has a chance.
Part-time Cowboy or full-time Cowboy, all with a chance here, and Alex Marishnikov, not quite the household names that Garrett, Wardell, and maybe Larry Sandvik is, but doesn't matter. He had a great semifinal round.
Well, and what a horse. This horse, Skull Frontier, comes from Hank Franzen, and this is one outstanding bareback horse.
And as I did mention Larry Sandvik, Larry also scoring 82. He will be the 4th Cowboy to make it into this final round.
Well, and when you get the top 4 guys like this lined up, they all made great rides to bring them back. They are pumped up and ready to go.
We have the final 4 in bareback riding. Will crown the DNCFR champion when we come back. ESPN's coverage of the 1998 Dodge National Circuit Finals is brought to you by Wrangler, the only jeans and shirts endorsed by the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. By the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. By War Design Metals, the official buckle of the PRCA. And by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, Las Vegas, home of the National Finals Rodeo. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Metters. Welcome to the 12th edition of the DNCFR. This is a rodeo that has built a reputation on getting better every year. Not only will we see some of the best circuit cowboys from across the country, tonight we'll have a chance to watch one of the best livestock lineups, period. And of course you have to mention the money. Last year the DNCFR was number 5 on the PRCA's list of richest rodeos. It'll stay there. This year's prize money, $445,000. And now to set the stage on the Cowboys that hope to grab the headlines tonight, here's Butch Knowles.
I'm always glad to come to the Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo. It gives us a chance to see who's who in professional rodeo, but also who, with names like Brad Gleason, veterans like D.R. Daniels and Kevin Small, but then there's some new names in there. Guys like Dean Schlappman in the saddlemark riding, and also Jeff Clare in the calf roping. But they're all here to do one thing, and that's win a national championship, and it's always exciting to watch.
Alex Marishnikov won the semifinal round with an 83. Then it's Sandvik, Wardell, and Marvin Garrett, all with 82. Throw those scores out. The Cowboy with the best score here in the Wrangler round is the Dodge National Circuit Finals champion. First Cowboy, Kelly Wardell, Bellevue, Idaho. Skull Spring Fling is the draw. It was a year ago, right here at the Dodge National Circuit Finals, that Clint Corey drew this bronc in this exact round, and here's what happened.
Well, Clint Corey went on to set an arena record, 89 points on what I believe is one of the best bareback rides I've had a chance to watch. The little horse, well, she went on to become the bareback horse of the year for 1997. This is what Kelly Wardell wants.
2 NFRs for Kelly Wardell, 34 years old, and it seems like he is hitting full stride a little bit late in his career.
Well, you know he is. In fact, Kelly won his first buckle last year in 1997. But he set off. He went on to the national finals, won over $32,000 at his second NFR. He is not getting older. He is just getting better.
He was voted the Coors' favorite fan in 1997. It's quite a compliment to Kelly Wardell, but he really is one of the best guys in rodeo.
Yeah, Kelly is a good guy. And that, you know what's nice is all the guys that are riding bareback horses, they don't mind it when Kelly Wardell wins. There's no jealousy involved. He's just a good guy and very good bareback riding director. Here's Spring Fling. Look at this horse. Now this horse is the bareback horse of the year, not because she's so ranked. A lot of guys ride her well, but she bucks so hard every trip, very consistent, very fitting for that young mare.
Our Wrangler Pro officials like it. 84 the score for Kelly Wardell. Not quite the 89 that Clint Corey had a year ago, but it's still going to be tough for these guys to beat. Here's Larry Sandvik, Casey, Wyoming. This is another great bareback bronc, Gaddafi Skull.
Well, a great one it is. This horse was voted 3 times the bareback horse of the year, plus 5 times this horse has been voted the best bareback horse here at the DNCFR. Sandvik, well, he hasn't won a world title yet, but he has been in the hunt the last 2 years, and he is on fire again in 1998.
Dodge truck pickup men going to work there. Louis Field, who's a 3-time PRCA all-around champion. And Steve Sutton, they set him safely on the ground. The Wrangler Pro officials go to work on Larry Sandvik and Gaddafi Skull.
Well, here's a typical trip for Gaddafi. Usually circles around to the right like that. Here's a horse that was in the saddle bronc riding for a few years. Got so hard to get out on in the chute. They moved him over to the bareback riding, and this horse has been outstanding ever since. Great ride, but just 1 point short of the championship right now. Kelly Wardell's still the leader.
Well, we mentioned the Dodge truck pickup man. Good look there at Louis Field. A great rodeo cowboy he was in his career. Here's Marvin Garrett, another guy that's a tremendous cowboy. 4-time world champion. He had number 5 in his sights last year at the National Finals Rodeo. He just couldn't quite seal the deal.
Well, if you're 84 points, you are sitting there watching Marvin Garrett because he's the kind of guy that will come after you. A little problem with control right there midway through that ride, though. The horse, well, it comes from Greg Kessler. Caddyshack is the name of this horse. Now, Marvin has won 4 world championships, been to 11 NFRs, but he's never won a DNCFR championship.
Not going to happen this year, 72. Well, Alex Marishnikov has no NFRs on his resume. We asked him about competing against these national finals veterans.
It's really neat. I mean, it gets your motor pumping, it makes you try a lot harder, and you're getting on the good horses, and they're out in front of you and you watch them, and it gets everything going for you.
Well, Alex is a PRCA member since 1992. He's 27 years old, and he is a very solid bareback rider.
Well, in this solid bareback horse, this is Skulls Alleyway, comes from Greg Kessler. Alex needs to be 85 to win the championship. I'm going to leave this up to our judges.
On watching that ride, you can tell how strong Skulls Alleyways really is.
Well, Jeff, he just got off one of the strongest horses, which was Skulls Frontier. Now this horse, Alex, has had his work cut out for him here at the Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo.
Marishnikov scores 81 points. The pats on the back for Kelly Wardell as he scores 84 on Skulls Spring Fling. Just because you win, it doesn't mean that you're going to make the most money here. Marvin Garrett made $14,000, Larry Sandvik $12,000, but it's Kelly who's with Jennifer Douglas.
Kelly Wardell and Spring Fling definitely made a match today. Now, Kelly, you're going to turn 35 in the next week, and you have just blossomed.
Well, I just had kind of a bad luck career. I've been hurt every year since I started until, let's say, the last 3 or 4 years, and you know, things are just taking off. I've been injury-free and other than minor things, and I feel like I'm riding better than I ever have, and my attitude's great, and it's just working out.
Okay, everybody wants to know how long you're planning to rodeo.
As long as I'm still beating them.
A win here in Pocatello does not count in our Wrangler Series standings. In fact, the money won here does not count towards the Crown Royal World standings. These Cowboys are just competing for a national circuit title. In the Crown Royal World standings, Deb Greeno right now number 1, Clint Corey number 2, Marvin Garrett number 3. So 3 world champions at the top. When we come back, the big guys take over. We'll have the steer wrestling when we return. Spring is returning to the mountains. The weather this week at Pocatello, Idaho has been absolutely beautiful, and the rodeo action at Holt Arena has been second to none. Here are the 8 Cowboys that qualified for the semifinals here at the Dodge National Circuit Finals. Let's take a look back at just the highlights from the semifinals to see the 4 Cowboys that have qualified for the Wrangler round. Frank Davis had some troubles with a 7-3.
Well, the cattle here, it's like anything. You know, they try to bring back the best steers for this Wrangler round, but they all aren't even. So luck of the draw cost Frank maybe a chance to come back in the Final Four.
Ricky Huddleston, a quiet Cowboy from Oklahoma, has qualified for 3 NFRs, and he has been on top of his game this week here in Pocatello.
Well, Ricky can be quick on cattle, especially when he gets them caught. This steer handled very well.
The fastest time of the semifinals belonged to Jesse Peterson at 4.5.
Well, he handles this steer just about the same as Ricky Huddleston handled his, just a little bit down the arena.
And watch out for this guy. The defending world champion, Brad Gleason, also makes the Wrangler round with a run of 5 seconds flat.
Well, Brad's been on fire. We'll see if maybe momentum carries into the short go.
And here's one of the more unknown Cowboys, Clay Schricker, also making it back to the Wrangler round. So here are the 4 Cowboys that survived the semifinals. Jesse Peterson's 4.5 set the pace. Once again, throw those times out. It is a clean slate final. First to go, Ricky Huddleston, McAllister, Oklahoma, representing the Prairie Circuit. 5'10", just about 210 pounds. Not the biggest steer wrestler out there, but as you mentioned, he can be awfully quick.
Well, and the idea, he's the first of the 4 to go, and a good run like this really puts the pressure on him. 3-9, that's an outstanding run. Now these guys are going to have to back in there, run at the barrier a little harder. This steer broke pretty hard to the right out of there, but Ricky got down in good shape and handled him very quick. Excellent run.
3 NFRs to his credit. There's a good look at our Wrangler Pro officials working this rodeo. 4 of the best: Tommy Keith, Jade Robinson, George Gibbs, and Larry Davis. And right now they have their eyes on Brad Gleason, the reigning world champion. Won $120,000 last year and notching his first world championship. Always one of the guys that seemed to come to the top.
Well, he needed to be 3-9. Now that steer went down the arena just a little further. As you can see, 4-2. The steer broke a little harder than Ricky's steer. Now Brad won the average. They run 2 head of stock here, and they pay an average on that. That qualifies you for the top 8 and then the top 4. Brad threw 2 steers in 8 and 9 and won that. So he has filled his sock here, but he's not going to be the champion.
Clay Schricker in the box now. He's from Dexter, New Mexico, representing the Turquoise Circuit.
Well, he's very intent on trying to be quick. That steer now, he doesn't handle near as good as the other 2 steers did. So 5 and 8, that's going to take him out.
Ricky Huddleston has the lead with a 3-9. Brad Gleason is second. Clay Schricker is third. Final Cowboy now, Jesse Peterson from Dillon, Montana. He won the semifinals. We'll see if that momentum can carry over.
Well, he has to be quick and get a good start. He catches the steer quick, gets him on his side. Boy, it's going to be close. Oh, no, though. I see him indicate he broke the barrier. So what would have been a national championship ends up putting him in 4th place as far as money's concerned, and that's too bad, but he can be very proud of his accomplishments this week.
Ricky Huddleston set the pace. Nobody else could keep up. All the top 4, though, made big dollars. Brad Gleason made the most, but it's Ricky Huddleston who leaves as the winner.
Ricky Huddleston was 3.9, the fastest time all week on a steer that you didn't even want to draw.
No, of the 4 steers that was in the final deal here, he was the one that I probably least likely wanted to have. Just because he run a little bit harder and they'd been longer times on him.
Now you said that basically the only way to win was to get a great start, and you did that.
Me and another guy back in the back was talking, and the only way to really get a good check in this last round was to really get a good start, and that's what I did.
The winner of our Wrangler Series at the end of the regular season will pick up a $2,500 bonus. After 2 rodeos, Victor Deck has the lead. Crown Royal World Standing, Steve Duhan, an old world champion, back in the swing of things, $32,000. He's got a pretty good lead. Lee Graves is currently 5th, and Byron Walker, another former world champion, is 8th. With 4 world championships to his credit, Oatberry is a Cowboy that needs no introduction. Here's our Cowboy Classic. Since the arrival of Scott Oatberry in Chakota, Oklahoma, the 6'3", 240-pounder has only added to the town's legend. Berry has been a dominant force in steer wrestling since he joined the PRCA 16 years ago, qualifying for 11 NFRs and racking up world championships in 1985, 1990, 91, and 1995. At age 35, Barry has overcome his share of injuries, and the competition knows that if he qualifies for the NFR, he is a threat to win it all. Other honors include the 1985 NFR average title and more than $1 million in career earnings. This summer in Colorado Springs, Oak Barry will be inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame, but fans should also look for Barry at the 1998 National Finals Rodeo, chasing his 5th PRCA World Championship. Our Cowboy Classic is brought to you by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. When we come back, we'll head and heel another national circuit title. We're glad you're with us for the Dodge National Circuit Finals. Jim Allen and the Rodeo Committee here in Pocatello, Idaho, doing an outstanding job. Here are the 8 teams that qualified for the semifinals. Only 4 could move on to the Wrangler round. First to make it, 2 former world champions, Steve PRCA and Steve Northcott. Quick run of 6-6.
Well, you know, I talked to some of the team ropers before the rodeo, and the steers here have been, well, as you can see, a little quick. In fact, some of the teams had trouble even catching them. A couple of the teams made it back, roping one hind foot with 5-second penalties. So it's been a little wild, this team roping has.
Jimmy Tanner and Brad Culpepper are the 3rd team to qualify, and a couple of Cowboys from Oklahoma, Charles Pogue and Britt Buckus, who were a big threat at the National Finals Rodeo last December. There are the times, 2 5.8s, a 6.1 and a 6.6, but once again, you throw those out, a clean slate final. It's do or die as these 4 teams come back to vie for the National Circuit Championship. First to go, Steve PRCA, Steve Northcott. These are the Cowboys that were the world champion header and world champion heeler in 1996.
Well, you know, I do really like the concept of where the Cowboys, they don't take scores or times with them, so there's no safety in this. You back in there and everyone's tied at 0. And what you get done is what you win, and it makes it very exciting.
Well, 4-9, that's not going to make things easy on the next guys to work. Here's Jimmy Tanner and Brad Culpepper. They are from Georgia. They represent the Southeastern Circuit.
Well, scoring these cattle is important. Boy, he gets him roped as quick as anybody. He gets a good look at things and picks up one hind foot. So what would have been 4 and 8 ends up 9 and 8, and that was a costly little leg right there.
Here are 2 Cowboys from the Pacific Northwest, from Washington State, representing the Columbia River Circuit. Jason Stewart, who's 22 years old. B.J. Campbell, he's only 19.
Well, Jason's a good all-around Cowboy, just as I was going to do a little bragging and say that he's not only an excellent team roper, a good calf roper as well. Well, he runs up there and shows he's human and just misses in this Final 4. That's too bad.
Steve PRCA and Steve Northcott's 4-9 has the lead. Here's the final team. Charles Pogue from Ringling, Oklahoma. Britt Buckus from Claremore, Oklahoma. These guys are NFR veterans. We'll see if they can handle the pressure.
Well, Britt comes around and gets a look at things. He's one of the wickedest guys at the heels, and he picks up one hind foot. So you put a little pressure on him. There, what would have been 5 flat ends up 10 flat. Tough luck.
The 1996 World Champion shine here as Steve PRCA and Steve Northcott win the National Circuit title. You can see the payoff there, just a little more than $9,200. A Wrangler Series for the headers right now. Brett Boatwright has the lead with 16 points. His partner, Corey Kuntz, has the lead on the heeling side. Crown Royal World Standing, Speed Williams, the defending world champion, in first place right now. Brett Boatwright, Charles Pogue, all in the top 3. There's a look at the Cowboys sitting 6 through 10. Here's a look at the heelers. Rich Skelton well on his way to winning his 2nd world championship. Corey Kuntz is number 2. Culpepper didn't win here, but he is 7th in the world. The PRCA's list of 1997 world champions feature just 1 Cowboy from east of the Mississippi. Let's meet Speed Williams, our Wrangler world champion. Speed Williams was caught in a partner shuffle in 1997. He started the year with a legend, Clay O'Brien Cooper, but he found himself at a crossroads by mid-August.
Clay was my hero, always will be, I think, because I'm a healer at heart. The main thing you look for just about in any business, you look for somebody that takes care of business and does his job and dedicated to doing it and has experience. horsemanship, roping ability. Just being able to rope 2 feet every time is not the key to getting along. You might make money for a little while, but when the atmosphere gets a little old, it's kind of hard to keep going down the road together.
Williams' next partner also met the required criteria. He and Rich Skelton quickly set off on a journey that would lead them to record earnings in team roping. The Florida native won almost $115,000 to go with his first world championship. He grew up on a ranch and has a passion for horses. They also have to meet a certain criteria to make the team.
Broke. I'm a big fanatic on the reiners and the cutters of horse really responding to my hand and being able to switch leads and side pass and lots of little bitty things that horses need to be capable of doing.
A drive for perfection is just one reason Williams found the spotlight at the PRCA World Champions Banquet, a dream that impacted more than just this 30-year-old cowboy.
There's probably only one bad thing I can think about for me winning the world title. If any of you in here know my father, since I have been about old enough to ride a little dog, he had a saddle for me to ride. He's told him he was going to train a world champion. So the fellers at the coffee shop, I don't envy you at all.
He was quite the character about it. He got to where he just walk in there, wouldn't say nothing, just stick his old chest out and wait for them to make a comment, and then they got abused. But he has been quite comical.
Our world champion profile is brought to you by Wrangler. 4 of the best broncs in the world are awaiting the Cowboys that can make it to the Wrangler round in saddle bronc riding. Welcome back to the Dodge National Circuit Finals. Jeff Metters along with Butch Knowles. One of the biggest changes for this rodeo over the last 12 years has to be the stock.
Well, with 17 contractors represented at this year's DNCFR, I'll guarantee you one thing, the broncs should be outstanding.
8 Cowboys advanced from the 2 previous rounds to make the semifinals. Only 4 were good enough to move on to the Wrangler round. And Butch, as a veteran of this rodeo, you know that it takes a lot just to make it through this semifinal round.
Well, it does, because the horses they put in here aren't always the easiest to ride. As we take a look at JT Hitch on this big buckskin horse of Kessler's, he gets tested. This young man came back and answered very well.
JT is from Stylesville, Indiana, and rodeos in the Great Lakes circuit. One cowboy that did not make the Wrangler round, 2-time world champion Robert Etbauer.
Well, Robert Etbauer missed his horse out of the chute, so what ended up being a very good ride, well, he ends up with no score and a chance to go on to the top 4.
Robert won his world championships in 1990 and 1991. Also riding pretty well, Dean Schlattman. Scored 70 points. Good, but not good enough.
Well, Dean had a tough horse. This is Copenhagen Blue Jeans from the Pins Rodeo Company. Had some problems going out across there. Almost lost his stirrup and just didn't do it well enough to make the top 4.
Chance Dixon missed the national finals last year with some late season injuries. He seems to be back healthy and riding well again.
Well, it took Chance about 6 months, in my opinion, to get back to about 100%, and that's where he's at right now. Chance said he put some new stirrup leathers in his saddle prior to the rodeo. He's been fighting that a little bit, but indicated right here, he is here to win the money.
Justin Washburn advanced to the final 4. He's from Corona, New Mexico. And rodeo's in the turquoise circuit.
Well, Justin's on a horse that we've seen a lot of, Rockin' Ronnie Skoll from the Dan Russell Rodeo Company, or Western Rodeo Company. Tough to ride.
And here's Johnny Pollock. He is the 4th cowboy to make it into the Wrangler round.
Well, Johnny was on Hiawatha Skoll. It comes from the Big Bend Rodeo Company. Took care of business, and now he's progressing on, maybe a chance to win a national championship.
And here are the 4 cowboys that survived. JT Hitch wins the semifinals with an 80. Justin Washburn was 2nd. Once again, just a reminder, it's a clean slate final now. These scores do not count towards the National Circuit Championship. First up, Johnny Pollock from Dublin, Texas. He rodeos in the Texas Circuit. Copenhagen collect call is the bronc.
Well, this is a Kessler bronc and a tough one. Now, Johnny Pollock, I've been watching him and his career move along. This young man's impressive. Almost made the national finals last year, was in that top 30 area. He'll be there before long. Good look at Steve Sutton right in there and set him on the ground.
Well, he's 15th in the world right now, having a pretty good year outside of the circuit system. There's one more look.
Well, look at this bronc. The consistent kick goes out across there. Now, the Kessler Rodeo Company, they raise all their horses. They have over 400 head of horses up there on their ranch, so they have a lot of good broncs to pick from.
79 points the score for Johnny Pollock. Good start for him. The 3 Cowboys still have a chance to bump him and win the national circuit title. Here's Chance Dixon. Lives up in Washington. He's drawn a great one, Bobby Joe Skoll. Chance won this rodeo 2 years ago.
Well, and this is a bronc you could win it again this year on. It's up to Chance. We'll see what he can get done. Well, he's having some problems. This old Bobby Joe just kind of got him hung back there in that back cinch area. That's not where you want your feet to be. You like to look down and see him at the front end of that horse. Chance, like I mentioned, was fighting his saddle a little bit. You know, it's funny when you change something in your saddle, like stirrup leathers, you change them 2 or 3 times a year. It's hard to get them just perfect.
Justin Washburn now. Copenhagen Desperado is the draw from Corco. See right there, he needs 80 points to take the lead in this final round.
Well, Justin was 22nd in the world last year. Another guy that would like to make his first trip to the NFR, but he'd like to win a national championship. He's got his chin down, very aggressive ride. Well, here's a horse that was brought here by the Jim Corco Rodeo Company, Copenhagen Desperado, and he is a very good bronc. I know all the guys wanted to pick him. Nice ride.
While Justin hasn't made the national finals, he did win a couple of rodeos on the Wrangler World of Rodeo last year. He won Tucson and Reading.
Well, good mark out. Held his feet that extra length, so no mistakes are made there. Had a little trouble getting his feet set in the front end until right through here, then he got set back down. That's the way it's supposed to look like.
80 points is the score for Justin Washburn. He moves Johnny Pollock to number 2 now in the go-around. The final Cowboy will be J.T. Hitch from Stylesville, Indiana. I think when you think about great bronc riders, the state of Indiana doesn't necessarily come to mind, but this is a pretty gutsy kid.
Well, I'm pretty impressed with JT. I was very impressed with his preliminary round. He had a rank horse, and he's got his hands full again here. JT, he can ride rank broncs, reaches up there, sets his feet every time he gets a chance. Well, here's another one I'm going to leave up to our judges. It is going to be close.
Rookie of the Year back in 1995. Right now he's number 21 in the world. You can see here he did a pretty nice job staying in the middle of a pretty wild, cool shadows.
Well, another Kessler bronc, and this horse does get it on and then comes around in that circle, but JT got set back down and handled him quite well.
All the judges tabulating is all finished up. 80 points is the score for JT Hitch. He's going to tie in this round with Justin Washburn, but it doesn't matter. He won the semifinals, and that's the deciding factor when you have a tie in the Wrangler round. He also makes $13,000 to go with that national circuit title.
JT Hitch and Justin Washburn tied with an 80. Now, when you tied, you rode last, so did you know that you had been the winner?
No, they didn't tell me until afterwards, and they, I guess, took the leader from the previous round, and that's how they determined on the leader.
Now, Cool Shadow is supposed to be really ranked, but you told me this is the horse you wanted.
Yeah, a person always wants to draw that rank one. That's the type you went on.
In our Wrangler series right now, Rod Hay has the lead, Steve Dollarhide number 2. JT will pick up a $500 bonus for his win today. Crown Royal World Standings, Dan Mortensen in a pretty comfortable position. Ty Murray, though, coming back from a 3-year layoff due to injuries. He's having a great year as well. He's solidly there in the top 10. Next up, calf roping. Don't go away. Every year here in Pocatello, the pancake breakfast is always a big hit. Gives fans a chance to come out, meet some rodeo queens, and also some DNCFR contestants. Calf ropers coming in. Here are the 8 Cowboys that made the semifinals. This had the makings of a great roping. D.R. Daniel made the Wrangler round his time of 11.3. This is a cowboy that we heard a lot about in the 1980s. Been pretty quiet in the 1990s.
Well, he was a dominating kind of a cowboy through the 80s, and you're right. He just went home after 1991's NFR.
Here's another cowboy that pretty much stays close to home, Casey Jones, another great circuit cowboy.
Well, he is. He's another cowboy that went to the finals in 91, and then he kind of went away, but he still rodeos very competitively.
Brad Goodrich is an NFR caliber cowboy, and he won the semifinals with this run of 9.8.
Well, and Brad was way down the arena when that took place. An excellent run.
Jeff Clare, an 11.6. He was not lucky enough to make it back to the top 4.
Well, luck of the draw took Jeff Clare out of the chance. That calf wasn't very good. Once he got him on the ground, though, it was very quick.
And Strand Smith from Tell, Texas, that 10.1 was the second best time that we saw. Strand, of course, almost won the World Championship a year ago. So here are the 4 cowboys that make it back to the Wrangler round. Brad Goodrich, Strand Smith, Casey Jones, and D.R. Daniel. D.R. Daniel's a cowboy that almost won a world championship in the late 80s. Then he disappeared in the 90s. We asked him if he had any regrets.
Yeah, you know, I come close there in 86 and 87. I got flagged out on the 8th calf. Said I didn't clear the calf in 87, and I was in the lead for the world all year. But I tell you, I won the NFR, and I got to win the Dodge Nationals, and it didn't happen, and I had to go on with my life.
He was the national circuit champion in 87 and 88. He was runner-up to the world champion in 86 and 87. He's just 33 years old now. He really retired from rodeo very young.
Well, 1991 was the last year he went to the finals. He was 25 years old. Here's a guy that could still go and win a world title. Look at him. Hasn't lost a step as he makes a quick run on this calf, and he's going to put the pressure on him now.
Well, you see Jade Robinson retying that barrier. Tough luck for D.R. Daniel. That 8-5 turns into 18-5. Now to Casey Jones. He comes from Kansas, representing the Prairie Circuit. Casey's a good cowboy. He's been to 1 national finals. I think the headline of the story about him is he's got 7 kids.
Well, that'll make you try a little harder. He's got a good calf right here. Gets him on the ground. Now, if he's clean at the barrier, he just matched what DR almost had, an 8-5. There's a good look at it. He pushes that barrier, but he is clean. Has a good calf. That calf just loped out there. That's the one you'd want. Switches him, gets to him in a hurry. Now, this guy has been to the national finals. He competed in both the calf roping and the team roping in 1991. He's a good hand.
Well, that 8-5 will put the pressure on the final 2 cowboys. Strand Smith will be first, then Brad Goodrich. Here's how tough calf roping is. Strand won $111,000 last year, and it was only good enough for 6th place when it was all said and done.
Well, what a year he put together. He and Cody Ohl had a battle all year long. He's always fun to watch rope, and he's getting something quick going on. 1.5 hitch. Now he hustles back to that horse. That 6-second procedure doesn't start till you ride your horse forward and put a little slack in that rope, and that's not what we want to see happen. The calf struggles, so it'll be no time for Strand Smith.
Well, I like his style. I like his attitude. He knew he had to take some chances there, and this chance just didn't pay off. Brad Goodrich now, Hermiston, Oregon, representing the Columbia River Circuit.
Well, Brad's got to be 8-4. He's got a calf that runs pretty hard when you compare him to the calf Casey had. And I think in Brad's mind, he knows that he probably won't win the championship, but just a good solid run will let him win 2nd in the go-around. That's worth about $4,000 more.
You see the time there, 12-7. It will be good enough for 2nd place, but well off that 8-5 set by Casey Jones, and there is the Kansas Cowboy. All smiles as he wins the National Circuit Championship. Casey will take home $17,831, and with 7 kids, I bet he could use it. He's also standing by with Jennifer Douglas.
We've seen Casey as a winner on this show several times. Now, Casey, you have 2 brand new 7th-month-old twins.
Yeah, a little more incentive to win, I guess.
Now that equals 7 children. How does that affect how you rodeo?
Oh, I really like a deal like this where you can come up here and bring the family with you and go swimming with the kids. It's a great area, a lot of good people up here, and it's just fun to be here.
In our Wrangler series, after the first 2 rodeos of the year, Ricky Hyde doing pretty well with 24 points. He's got the lead. Crown Royal World Standings, Johnny Emmons with 30,000 is the cowboy to catch. Fred Whitfield, the defending world champion, Cody Ohl, all of those guys in the top 3. Joe Beaver pretty strong as well with 15,000 in the bank. Right now the Beav is number 8. Still to come, the ladies barrel racing. We'll return to Pocatello right after this. Western Wishes is an organization that makes dreams come true for challenged children. This is Wyatt. He has spinal muscular atrophy. He had a chance to meet Justin Andrade, a bull rider, and Clint Corey. As far as the semifinals go for the barrel racers, 4 ladies made it out of this 8 to the Wrangler round, and here they are. First up, Karen Renshaw. Karen is from Glasgow, Kentucky. She rodeos in the Great Lakes Circuit.
Well, the thing you got to remember, too, in the barrel racing, these horses come right back in about less than an hour and have to make another run when they make the top 4. That plays a big role in who the champion is.
Peyton Rainey, she was the WPRA Barrel Racing Rookie of the Year in 1997. She is still in full stride in 1998.
Well, she's off to a great start in 98. Now, that little horse really turned that third barrel tight. We'll see what happens.
She won the semifinal round. Tacey Johnson was pretty strong as well, a 50-57. She made the final 4.
Well, Tacey goes in and out of this third barrel very strong. You see the ground holding up quite well for the top 8.
And here's the ringer, Christy Peterson and Bozo. These two have won 3 of the last 4 world championships, including the world title in 1997.
You know, one advantage I think that Christy has, she can kind of hold Bozo out on those turns and not make the turn so tight. He is so fast, he still can make the top 4.
There you see the times. Peyton Rainey set the pace for that 15:24. We'll throw them all out. It's a clean slate final. Fastest lady in this last round is the winner. First to go, Tacey Johnson from Henrietta, Oklahoma. Her husband Mike, of course, a PRCA calf roper who has had a tremendous career. These two together make quite a rodeo family.
Well, in fact, they both qualified for last year's NFR. In fact, Tacey's been to 3 national finals rodeos. There's a good look at the third and final turn. Again, all their times are thrown away, 15 and 52. We'll see if that holds up.
Glasgow, Kentucky's Karen Renshaw now. No NFRs to her credit right now. She's number 43 in the Crown Royal World Standings. She's got to be 15:51 or faster to take the lead here in the final round at the National Circuit Finals.
Well, she's riding a very nice horse. That horse turns very good, 15:65. Not going to be enough.
Well, he talked about Christy Peterson kind of safetying up on Bozo. We'll see if she gives him a little bit more rein here in this Wrangler round.
Well, right now it's fairly open, 15 and 52 by Tacey Lynn. So if she just makes a good solid run on Bozo, but you notice her turns are a little tighter because she has one girl behind her. She can't just coast through this.
It's tough for Christy. She broke her arm in a sledding accident back in January, so that's kind of slowing her down just a little bit. You see the time, though, 15:21.
Isn't that amazing?
He's an incredible horse. A little more pressure now on Peyton Rainey from Boyd, Texas.
Oh, and I was just going to say Peyton Rainey, if anyone has a chance to beat Christy, this little horse can do it. But that knockdown barrel will pick up a 5-second penalty, so she's just going through the motions, and that is not going to happen. And Christy Peterson is the champ.
Well, the money you win here does not count towards the Crown Royal World Standings, but Peyton is currently number 4 in the world. There you see the money for Christy Peterson, $19,000. Bozo continues to carry her to the winner's circle. In our Wrangler series so far in 1998, we have a tie at the lead. Angie Metters trying to make it back to another national finals rodeo. Here's the Crown Royal World Standings. Sherry Serby, number 1. Christy Peterson, number 2. You can see that Peyton Rainey has dropped out of the top 5. Right now, she's number 6. Charmaine James is number 10.
20 years ago, the PRCA created what is now one of the most popular programs in professional rodeo, the circuit system. Here's more on this Dodge Truck Look Inside Rodeo. At many PRCA competitions across the country, there is actually a rodeo within a rodeo, as circuit cowboys vie for dollars that could lead them to the Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo. The PRCA has divided the United States into 12 geographical regions. To qualify for the DNCFR, a cowboy has to win the regular season title in his circuit or his circuit finals title. The circuit system is set up for the cowboy who rodeos for a living as well as the occasional rodeo cowboy, and it definitely has something for both.
Well, first off, they're competing for a national championship, a circuit title. It brings together a combination of circuit contestants who don't rodeo for a full time and a group of world champions or NFR caliber contestants. So it's a real good mix, and they're all competing for a national title, and that makes it one of the most prestigious events in the PRCA.
Since the first DNCFR held back in 1987, this rodeo has changed in 2 key areas, making it one of the PRCA's very best.
Obviously is the money, the increase in money, but the quality of livestock is comparable, if not better, than we take to the NFR, because we don't have to have as many. So we have the best livestock, the top contestants, one of the top 3 payoff rodeos, and for those reasons it's continued to grow and become a huge success.
This Look Inside Rodeo was brought to you by Dodge Truck. 6 events down, 1 to go. We'll be back with the bull riding in just a minute. Welcome back to the Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo. Jeff Metters along with Butch Knowles. And watching this rodeo over the last 6 or 7 years, you learn that a qualified ride in the semifinals and the finals is something that you can hang your hat on.
Well, when they bring 17 contractors, they bring the very best bulls in the business, and it is tough to make it on all 4.
2 qualified rides in the semifinals. Here was the first, Mark Kuhn. He is from Mandan, North Dakota. He scored 83 points.
Well, Mark Kuhn now has ridden all 3 of his bulls. With 1 more to go, we'll see what happens.
Mark Ward was not so lucky. Stephen Campbell had his problems as well.
Well, here's a bull that was brought here by the Groundy Rodeo Company. Here's a calf out of the little bull Wolfman, and when you watch this bull, you can tell he is closely related.
Stayed right there to the final second, but the judges gave him a no score. Sid Killingsworth, the story is the same.
Well, these guys, what looks like they start out doing exceptional, but it has to go for 8 seconds, not 7.5, and another no score.
Scott Wheatley is another cowboy that wound up with no score and just narrowly misses making that Wrangler round. Tony Mendez, no score as well. Like the other cowboys that didn't quite make the whistle, he falls a little bit short of his goal of making the final round here in Pocatello. J.C. Sanders did not make the whistle, but he was strong enough in the average that he's one of 2 cowboys that managed to make it back regardless of having a no score in the semifinals. And Justin Andrade, that second qualified ride, he wins the semifinals with this 87.
Well, he also has a bull that might move into the Boone and Crockett book for the bull with the biggest antlers. It's good if you're an elk hunter, but it's scary if you're a bull rider.
And always one of my favorite highlights in my week at Pocatello, the exceptional rodeo where everyone's a winner. We'll also crown our bull riding national circuit champion when we come back. ESPN's coverage of the Dodge National Circuit Finals is brought to you by Wrangler, the only jeans and shirts endorsed by the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. By the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. By War Design Metals, the official buckle of the PRCA. And by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, Las Vegas, home of the National Finals Rodeo. Our final 4 cowboys in the bull riding, Justin Andrade, Mark Kuhn with an 87 and an 83. For J.C. Sanders and Mark Ward, doing well in the average pays off because it gets him back to the finals without making a qualified ride in the semifinals. Here's Mark Ward. What a great bull. This is Playmate from Western Rodeo.
Well, Jeff, you and I have watched this bull many times, and he is big and rank, and Mark Ward just gets rocked back and ripped out of there. He's not the first guy that's happened to. Now this bull, if you can stay out over him, that's your best chance to ride him. Right there, Mark's in good shape. As this bull comes around right there, you see him rock back away from that hand, and then it's all over.
A 22-year-old Cowboy from North Platte, Nebraska walks away with no score. Joe Bumgardner, one of the best bullfighters in the business. He's worked the last 6 NFRs, working with a youngster here, Shane Anderson, who's just 24. And in the barrel, it's Flint Rasmussen. Now to J.C. Sanders, Hooper, Utah. Rapid fire, this is the 1997 Bucking Bull of the Year.
Well, this bull's brought here by Big Bend Rodeo Company. In fact, they had both the Bareback horse and the Bull of the Year last year. That's something that's only happened a few times. The last time back in 1985, Benny Butler did it, but look at this bull get it on. J.C. Sanders, well, he was 22nd in the world last year. This guy can ride bulls, but this bull can get it on.
Ladies and gentlemen, now recognize him.
Now to who I guess you could consider the veteran of this bunch. This is Mark Kuhn from Mandan, North Dakota. 37 years old, and he has ridden bulls like he's about 20 so far this week in Pocatello.
Well, he's 3 for 3. He's the only Cowboy here that can ride all 4 of his bulls, but he's got a big yanker. And down he comes as Skulls King Kong just rips him out of there. This bull came from Del Hall all the way from Oklahoma.
I like the name of this bull. It really fits him.
Oh, doesn't it, though? Look at the power. He kind of hops, skips, and then he gets it on. Mark gets kind of set up there. You make one slight mistake on these ranked bulls, and there is no recovery.
I can't get over how big that bull is. He looks kind of like a buffalo.
Well, as Cody Snyder had put it, that's a big sack of guts right there.
Well, with the first 3 Cowboys coming off, that actually hands the national circuit title to Justin Andrade. He's matched up with Alex, but he really doesn't have to make the qualified ride to win.
No, but I know as competitive as Justin is, he wants to win and do it the right way by staying on, but he's not going to get it done. In fact, he lit about as hard on the top of his head as he's holding his neck right there. I hope he's okay. That looked bad. There's another look at it. This bull just kind of rocks him into his hand. He gets him, rips his hand out of there finally, but he lands just like a lawn dart, right square on the top of his head. Oh.
Well, the Justin Sports Medicine team is on hand here in Pocatello, and they go to work on Justin. His paycheck should help a little bit, $13,000. J.C. Sanders did a little better in the earlier rounds, but it doesn't matter. Andrade is the national circuit champion.
Nobody rode a bull in the final round, but Justin won because he had the high point ride in the semifinal round. Now, Justin, this is a high caliber group of bulls.
Yeah, I tell you what, they really pick out the best bulls to come to the circuit finals, and especially in this last round. These are the 4 rankest bulls that are here in the arena tonight, and unfortunately nobody rode, but fortunately nobody got hurt.
In our Wrangler Series standings, Tuff Hedeman with 28 points. He's done very well so far in 1998. He has the early lead. Crown Royal World standings, you can see Tuff right now is currently 3rd in the world. Ty Murray has creeped into the top 15. Here's a look at 6 through 10. You can see Ty there is number 8. Mike White had a great 1997. The rookie is number 10. Our next stop on the Wrangler World of Rodeo, we'll head to Laughlin, Nevada. Join us on Thursday, May 14th at 10 p.m. Pacific time. For Jennifer Douglas and Butch Knowles, I'm Jeff Metters. We'll see you next time on the Wrangler World of Rodeo. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.